Do you ever feel lonely? Not the I'm bored on a Friday night kind, the deeper kind, where you are surrounded by people, you have conversations, you make plans, and yet something's missing, like no one actually knows you. 1/3 Americans report chronic loneliness. Most Western societies are not far behind. But here's what I want to flip on you today. Japan, this ultra-polite, ultra-harmonious, everybody bows and nobody fights society. It might have a loneliness problem that's worse than yours, and it simply has a very different flavor. Picture this, you just moved to a new city. You don't know anyone. After work, the silence starts closing in. In the Western version of this story, you open an app, takes a few people, end up at the bar, and by midnight you've got 3 new friends. Whether any of them show up next week is another question entirely. The Japanese version of this story goes differently. You don't reaching out because reaching out uninvited feels like imposing. Your coworkers are perfectly pleasant. You chat every day, but the conversation never goes anywhere that matters. Just weather, work, safe topics, surface forever. So which loneliness would you rather live with? You know what makes this interesting? Each side can't genuinely understand the other. Some Japanese people look at Western culture, all that emphasis on openness and freedom, and assume making friends are easy over there. What they miss is freedom cuts both ways. When nothing's required, nothing's guaranteed either. Family bonds loosen, friendships don't follow you when you move. You are free, but whether that freedom is slowly or not is entirely your own problem. Meanwhile, some Westerners look at Japan and think, polite, stable, close-knit. These people must have plenty of friends. But having people around is not the same as having anyone who actually knows you. Co-workers you've known for a decade, parents you live with, and still almost no one you call at 2 a.m. And here's the part that nobody outside Japan sees. A surprisingly large population of people with no intimate relationship at all. No partner, no close friend. Sometimes no one will notice if they vanished. In 2000, a 69-year-old Japanese man died alone. His body wasn't found for 3 years, not until the automatic payments for rent and utilities ran dry. If Western loneliness means you can always meet people, but the relationship breaks easily, the Japanese loneliness is the relationship is stable, but almost nobody truly enters each other's inner world. I know this clashes a lot of people's image of Japan. How can such a polite, stable, harmonious society producing loneliness? Alright, now we get the real reason. If Western society is a side effect of freedom, Japanese loneliness is the slow poison of a society that's too stable to crack. Relationships in Japan don't break. People don't suddenly ghost you, blow up at you, move across the country. Your co-workers, neighbors, people in your orbit, most of them will still be there in 20 years. But here's a rule you're supposed to know. You don't cross certain lines or ask too personal questions. You don't dump your emotional weight on someone else. That's considered rude. So when you're struggling, you don't say so. And because no one says so, no one reaches back. Everyone is isolated in plain sight, surrounded by people who would never dreamed of embarrassing themselves by admitting it. Now here's the uncomfortable question. If you feel lonely right now, would Japan actually make you feel better? Absolutely, but only for 3 months. Nobody invades your space, people are polite, safe, predictable, your stress level drops immediately. By month 4, something starts to feel off. People are friendly, but nothing moves forward. You can't get past the surface no matter how hard you try. A year in, you hit a fork, either the quiet starts eating you alive, or you adapt, which means the quiet lowering what you expect from other people, until the loneliness stops hurting as much. And honestly, that's probably the only reason Japanese society feels emotionally comfortable for some people. It doesn't cure loneliness, it just numbs the pain. But once you realize this, a deeper question appears. We naturally want to be understood, seen, accepted. So why is it that the either human connections becomes the farther apart people seem to grow? Go back far enough, and the answer becomes obvious. In hunter-gathering societies, your group was maybe 50 people. Survival depended on tight coordination and genuine trust. Betray someone, and you could get everyone killed. Relationships were not a lifestyle choice. They were low-bearing. Then agriculture scaled everything up. Population exploded, land becomes limited. Humans faced not just culture, but each other. Competition, betrayal, deception, social risk increased. So society created hierarchy, ethics, family structure, and obligations, all to stabilize the group. People still depended on each other. But loneliness started appearing in another form, the feeling of not being fully trusted. Then Western maritime trade pushes things even further. In farming societies, if you betray people, your reputation in the village was finished. But in trade societies, you could simply sail to another port just like nothing's happened. Relationships stops being permanent. Laws and contracts starts replacing emotional dependence. Fast forward to now, the modern states provide food security, physical safety, healthcare, retirement. You don't need anyone to survive. The system handles it. The core problem of society is no longer how do humans survive together. It becomes how do we stop humans from hurting each other? What no one likes to admit is almost everyone is afraid of rejection, afraid of showing weakness, afraid of investing time and care and getting nothing back. So the system reduces dependence and the individual raises emotional boundaries. That's why human nature still craves for emotional connection, while modern society keeps pushing individual freedom harder and harder. Brutal reality, systems were never designed to satisfy emotional needs. They were designed to reduce risk and keep society functioning. And honestly, we're all participating in it. When someone goes wrong, you call call a lawyer instead of asking a favor. When you need a job, you go to the market instead of through someone you trust. When you are sick, you follow a protocol instead of leaning on people. Every time you make the cleaner, no-risk path, you make the same trade. Efficiency for connection, and you now want to do that. That's what makes this a trap and not a moral failing. You know, we human beings are ironically contradictory creatures. We want to be understood, but we also want protection from getting hurt. When environments become dangerous, people trust each other. But once relationships stop being necessary for survival, relationships themselves become a risk. That's what loneliness actually is. But this raises another interesting question. Is there any societies where most people don't feel lonely? The answer is yes. China and South Korea, both East Asian, both operating on similar cultural logic to Japan. But the emotional texture is completely different. People checking on you, friends ask if you're tired, if you're struggling. When you're in pain, people around you observe some of it. It's warmer, but here's the full price tag. In this kind of society, access to healthcare, education, opportunity runs through relationships. Who you know and how close you are to the right person determines what you get down. When you need support, it's there unconditionally. But when your friend needs support at 11 p.m. on a first day, and you're exhausted, it's also non-negotiable. You can't easily exit a friendship. Backing away has real social and practical costs. The warmth is real, but so is the obligation. And if we stretch this all the way to the edge, in society with genuine physical danger, active conflict zones, high crime environments, loneliness essentially disappears because survival pressure completely overrides emotional needs. People bond fast and hold tight, which leads to a strange conclusion. The fact that you can even feel loneliness is in some ways a privilege. Modern people become lonely not because humans become colder. Humans became lonely because for the first time in history, we no longer truly need each other to survive. So either you need each other to survive, or no one fully understands you. Which one you choose? Alright, that's it for today. If you also like digging into the root, hit follow. We'll dig it deeper next time.